All right, we are in algebraic reasoning. This is going to be the long division of polynomials. And we are going to start out with dividing the quantity of n minus 4. That's going to be our divisor, and our dividend is going to be 5n squared minus 25n plus 20. So we're going to write this down. And then what we're going to do is that we're going to ask ourselves, what do I have to multiply to get 5n squared? Well, there's an assumed 1 out in front of the n. So we're going to write that there. And so to get 5, I'm going to multiply 5 times 1. And to get n squared, I already have one n. I need 2 n's, so I need 5n. So that's going to give me 5n squared. That right now is a positive because that's the sign of our 1n. Then we're going to take our 5n and we're going to multiply it by negative 4. That's going to give us negative 20. Then we're going to go through and we are going to change the signs of those. That way it eliminates our 5n squared, and we carry down what is the addition and what also remains in there as the remaining part. So we have a negative 5n and a positive 20. So I've got negative 5n. To get that to go away, I have to multiply that by negative 5, and I need to bring down my plus 20. You could actually put plus 0 in there if you wanted to keep everything all lined up. Then we're going to take negative 5 times negative 4 gives us a positive 20. We're going to bring that down. We're going to change our signs. And what that does is our negative 5's divide out, negative 5n, and our positive 20 and our negative 20 also add out. So this does not have a remainder. Okay. All right, we're going to come over here to number 2 then. Number 2, we are going to divide 8x squared plus 36x plus 16 by x plus 4. So we're going to write that in there, 8x squared plus 36x plus 16. We also want to make sure that everything fits nicely, is in order. So in other words, we go from a power of 2 to a power of 1 to a power of 0. Let's get that to fit. Okay, there we go. So again, we're going to ask ourselves, what do we do to get 8x squared? Well, I have to multiply by 8. And then I already have an x, so I need to multiply by another x. And then we multiply 4 times 8x to get 32x's. We're going to change our signs. And then our 8x squares to add out. 36x minus 32x's leaves us with a positive 4x plus 16. Now we're going to ask ourselves, what do we have to multiply the 1x by to get 4x? Well, I need to multiply by 4. So when I multiply 4 times 1x, I get 4x. And that didn't change color. There we go, 4x. And 4 times 4, again, gives us 16. And we're going to change our signs here from positive to negative. And from positive to negative, our 4x's add out, and our 16's add out. Again, we do not have a remainder on this. All right, now we have the quantity of 9a squared subtract 71a's plus 56. We're again going by 2, power of 2, power of 1, power of nothing. It's going to be divided by 1a subtract 7. Now you notice I went ahead and added in that assumed 1. Just makes it so much easier when we're multiplying. Okay. All right, so then again, we're going to ask ourselves, what do we have to multiply 1 by to get 9? Well, of course, that's 9. We need a squared. We already have an a, so we're going to take and multiply by a. We're going to do our distribution, and that's going to make it 9a squared minus 63a's. We're going to change our signs here. It means our 9a squareds will add out. And since the 71 is greater than 63, it's still going to be negative. The difference between 63 and 71 is 8. We're going to bring down that plus 56. Then we ask ourselves, what do we have to multiply 1a by to get a negative 8a? Well, we'll multiply by negative 8. We're going to go ahead and distribute that negative 8 to those two terms, that 1a minus 7. And we get negative 8a plus 56. Come along, change the signs. Those two add out, gives us no remainder. Okay. All right. Then we've got 10r squared, subtract 7r's, subtract 3. And that's going to be divided by r, subtract 1. Okay. Again, we're going to go squared, 1, and no r's. Put that assumed 1 in. And to get 10r squareds, well, we're going to multiply by 10r. Distribute that, gives us 10r squareds. Negative 10r's. Going to go back through, change our signs here in just a second. Okay. 10r squareds add out. Our plus 10 is greater than negative 7r's. Leaves us with 3r minus 3. And then to get 3r's from 1r, we're going to multiply by 3. So we're going to get 3r, and we're going to get negative 3. Then we're going to go back through, and we're going to change our signs again. Gives us 0 r's, and those two also add out, also is 0. So again, those are all lovely values. Okay, now we're going to go flip over to the back side here. All right, so now we have 4p squares plus 9 subtract 13p. That is not in order. So if I just start writing it down, I'm going to go, not good. That's not going to be happy. So I'm going to put an unhappy face here to show that this is not the way we want it. We need to make sure that that is in standard form, which means we go from p squareds to p to no p's. So we're going to take and erase the 9 and the negative 13p's and put them in the appropriate places with the appropriate signs. So negative 13p's is next, plus 9. Okay, same process. We're going to ask ourselves, what do we multiply 1p by to get 4p squareds? So we need to multiply by 4 and by another p. So now we're going to write down our 4p squared. We're going to take 4p times negative 1, gives us negative 4p. We're going to change our signs. Gives us a negative 9p plus 9. And then again, we are going to multiply by negative 9 to get negative 9p because we already have 1p. Okay, we're going to distribute that to get negative 9p and a positive 9. Then we change our sign again. So if I have a negative 9p and I add a positive 9p, that's 0 9p's. If I have a positive 9 and I subtract 9, I still have 0. So again, we could solve those for 0, and that would tell us what our roots were for at least 2 of our roots. Okay. Now you also have to make sure that our variable goes first. Remember, it's got to be in reducing order. So this had negative 8 plus v. No, we always want the variable to go first. So we have v1 and then no v's. All right. And you notice that thing was all messed up all over the place. So now we're going to take and multiply that by 10v. So we're going to have 10v squared. 10v times a negative 8 gives us negative 80v's. We're going to change our signs here. Okay. My 10v's add out because those are additive inverses. And then we have 80 subtract 78 leaves me with 2v's, subtract 16. To get 2v's from 1v, I need 2 more, so I'm going to multiply through by 2. So that's going to give me 2v, and then 2 times negative 8 gives me negative 16. Change our signs again, and again we have 0. All right, number 7. Again, we got to put it, oops, what happened here? Got a little carried away here. All right, so Again, we're going to put our 2x first, plus 10. That's standard form. And then I see that my highest power looks like to be a cubed, 2x cubed. Now subtract 2x squared because that's my next highest power. Subtract 78x. Subtract 87. Okay. Now we have a 2. We need, and we have one x. We need a 2 and an x cubed. I already have the 2. I need just x squared. So I'm going to multiply by x squared. 1 times 2 is 2. X times x squared gives me x cubed. 1 times 10 is 10, x squared. And again, we write that down, change our signs. Our 2x cubes add out. We now have negative, I'm supposed to have negative 12, x squared there. Or shoot, I messed that up. So guys, know that we messed that one up. We'll fix it here in a minute, hopefully. All right, so that should have been 6 instead of 7. Okay, all right, so anyway, let's just assume that that was supposed to be 14 instead. All right, so we're still going to come along here, and we multiply. If you do something like this, I'll still give you credit, partial credit at least. Alright, now we got a negative 8x, or I have 2x, so I'm going to multiply by negative 4. And if I had time, I would have you guys go in and double check by doing the expansion, but we don't have a whole lot of time here, so. Alright, as you can see, we're not going to end up with our negative 87 and positive 40 adding out. And we don't have an x, so there's not anything we can do with that. So we're going to write this as a remainder. We can't put it down as just r negative 47. What we're going to do is we're going to put, we should have put up there plus negative 47, and then what we were dividing it by, 2x plus 10. Just can't put up there negative 47, because a negative 47 and a negative 4 would become a negative 51. So we have to make sure that we understand that that negative 47 is being divided by our divisor. Okay. All right, so on to the next one. 6n plus 3 divided by 6n cubed plus 3n squared. Now this one doesn't have an n, so I'm going to put a holding n in. 0n subtract 3. Okay. And if I was asking for greatest common factor, I would ask you to factor out of 3 from everything, but we're not asking for greatest common factor. Okay, so 6n divides into 6n cubed. I just need 2n squareds. Okay, so, I need 1n squared. Alright, then we're going to take and multiply by 3, gives us 3n squareds. Change our signs again. Okay, so those add out. 6n cubed, 3n squareds. Now I have 0n minus 3. I can't do anything with this 6 times 0. So what's left is that subtract 3, that's our remainder, but it's being divided by 6n plus 3. So that's our remainder. Normally you would just put plus there. So our quotient is n squared plus negative 3 divided by 6n plus 3. All right, last two. All right, so we got n minus 8. Our divisor is in standard form. Our dividend is also in standard form. Okay, so I have I need n cubed, I need n squared. So we just multiply by that. And then we have negative 8n squared. Going to change our signs. I don't know why sometimes it doesn't want to change color. Okay, it gives me negative 10n squareds plus 78n plus 25. Now I have 1 times n, I need a negative 10. 10n's, negative 10n's. So negative 10n times n gives me negative 10n squareds. Negative 10n times a negative 8 gives me a positive 80n's. We're going to take and change our signs again, just like what we have before. 10n squareds divide out, or add out. And now we have a negative 2n's plus 25. All right, what's left over is that I need a negative 2 because we already have an n. I'm going to multiply that through. That looks like a really funky 2, doesn't it? Okay, let's fix that. All right, negative 2 times negative 8 gives me a positive 16. We're going to come through again, change our signs. Okay. Again, 25 subtract 16 does not add out. So that means that we're going to have a remainder on that one. Remainder of 9. And that's going to be divided by n minus 8. Like I said, you could put the quotient with the r, or you can just put in a plus. 9 divided by n divided by 8. That would work also. Okay. Last one, 6p minus 3. And this one is not in standard form, so we're going to divide out 60p cubed minus 66p squared. Let's see, then we're going to take and add plus 12p, and then subtract 6. And again, that has a greatest common factor all the way through of 3. We could factor out a 3 from everything if we wanted to, but that's not what our job is on this one. Okay, we're just doing long division of a polynomial. So we need 10p squareds, and then we're going to subtract from it 30p squareds, and then we're going to change our sign. We'll turn that plus. So what remains is still a negative 36p squareds plus 12p's, subtract 6. Okay. Now, I need to multiply by negative 6p to get p squared. Okay, so negative 36p squared. Negative 6 times a negative 3 will give me a positive 18. Come on. There we go, positive 18p's, and then we're going to change our signs again. Okay, my 36p squareds add out. I have a positive 12 and a negative 18, leaves me with negative 6p's, subtract 6, and now I already have 6p's. I need to multiply by a negative 1. So that's going to give me negative 6p, and a negative 1 times a negative 3 gives me a positive 3. Go through and change our signs. Need to scroll this up just a little bit. Gives me a negative 9 as the remainder. Negative 9 divided by 6p plus 3. Minus 3. Okay. All right, that is the end of our video.